It contains some violence. Channel 7 recommends viewing by mature audiences.
Previously on City Homicide.
It now appears that Mr. Majors was convicted and sentenced on the basis of false evidence.
That evidence, it was straight up. Now, you ought to know because you found it, mate.
After you sent me there.
Nick Buchanan, he's not as clean as you think.
Lombardi's after Nick Buchanan. He's going to charge him with perverting the course of justice.
You heard of Task Force Circa?
Yeah, that's fraud, isn't it?
Well, I just think your skills would be ideally suited, and I know they're looking for new people.
They will be dissolving Homicide altogether.
And the current Homicide detectives?
A few retirements, a few transfers, but make no mistake, there will be no more Homicide Squad.
We passed about an hour ago. I'm sorry you didn't get here on time.
You're not the only one, Father.
You said his name was Greg Stevens. Can you tell us anything else about him?
Not much, I'm afraid. He came to us a month ago from St. John's. He'd been diagnosed with end-stage prostate cancer.
What about before that?
He'd been living on the streets.
And he told you that he was responsible for a death.
Well, he said he'd murdered 3 people, but I believe that he sensed the end was near and he was trying to clear his conscience.
Did he give you any details? Or where or when these murders occurred?
No, I'm afraid not.
Okay, Father, well, we'll check it out, but I don't think there's very far we can go with the information you've given us.
I understand, but look, there is this one thing. He came here with this. He always kept the Bible close. He could become quite agitated if it wasn't near him. I think it was his way of reminding himself of his sins.
What makes you say that?
Have a look in the front cover.
3 names, 3 murder victims.
And we're meant to, what, disappear, just like that?
The Homicide Squad will be no more. I'm arranging the immediate transfers of over 40 experienced officers.
And who exactly does Lombardi think is going to solve murders?
A bunch of divisional Ds running around like headless chooks.
We saved that bombastic chaperone's life.
Yeah, now he's a bloody hero, shot in the line of duty.
So when does the axe fall?
Friday.
When are you telling the troops?
Tonight, before shift change.
Sarge.
Ah, yes. Reese, what is it?
The 3 names from the Bible. Mavis Simmons, Ruth Benson and Peter Faulkner. They're all in the system from back in the late 80s, but the thing is, none of them were murdered. Mavis Simmons died in a car crash. Peter Faulkner was killed in a house fire. Both deaths are recorded as accidental, and Ruth Benson disappeared.
Any connection between the 3?
The 2 deaths and a disappearance, they all happened in the same year, 1989?
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Gotta admit, Sarge, it's intriguing. All deceased or disappeared.
So, with nothing else to go on, what are we supposed to do?
Your job. Be detectives.
Your man here was a professional fighter in his youth.
A boxer.
That's my guess.
How can you tell?
Multiple fractures in his fingers and hands. His jaw's been broken at least 4 times, possibly more. And his ribs have been shattered so many times it's a miracle they're holding together.
So he was a boxer, but who was he?
Charlie Mansfield. I knew that mug.
Charlie Mansfield? We know him as Greg Stevens.
No, you know him wrong then, Freeman. He was a fighter in the mid-80s.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, no, I'm sure, all right. Here, have a look at the scar tissue under the eyes here. That was his weakness as a fighter. Thin skin, well-placed punch, and he'd open up and bleed like a stuck pig. No, last I heard of Charlie Mansfield, after he quit the fight game, he was working as a bouncer, standover for various lowlifes around town.
And you have any dealings with him personally?
Find out who his corner man was, his manager. That'd be your best bet.
You talk to his manager, or I'll talk to the corner man.
All right.
Good afternoon, Bufet. How can I help you today?
Charlie Mansfield. He's a blast from the past.
So you remember him?
I managed his last few fights. Bags of potential, Charlie. A real gunner bee. Unfortunately, is what we call in the game a bleeder.
Yeah, we've got that much already.
Sad case. Broke him when he had to give it away.
Mr. Canty, you say you were Charlie's manager, but according to our research, it was actually George Canty, your father, that managed Charlie.
Yeah, true. Dad became, indisposed, so I took over.
Indisposed? Our records show that your father killed someone in a road rage incident. He got 16 years and he died in prison.
It was a long time ago, son. I'm a pretty flat chap. What's this all about?
Well, when Charlie quit boxing, do you know what happened to him?
No, not really. Heard around the traps that he was working as a bouncer, but that was a long time ago.
And what about friends, family? Do you remember anyone like that?
No, look, he used to say he grew up in a boys' home.
Okay.
Remember the odd girlfriend hanging off his arm, but that was about it.
Do you remember any of these girls' names?
It was 25 years ago, son. They were basically boxing groupies, dime a dozen.
Okay. Do the names Mavis Simmons, Peter Faulkner or Ruth Benson mean anything to you?
I'm sorry. Can't help you. Those names mean nothing to me.
Yep.
You rang?
Come in. Shut the door. I won't keep you. I just wondered whether you had a chance to talk to Frank Bolson about transferring to Task Force Circa.
Yeah, actually, I did want to talk to you about that.
It's a good slot, especially until...
I'm not applying for it.
What?
Why would I transfer? I mean, I love it here. And I think that I've still got a lot to learn in Homicide. Sorry, I hope I didn't put you out with Frank Bolson.
Yeah, Reese, wait. Look, what I'm going to say is strictly confidential. Homicide Squad, it's finished.
Sorry, what?
I'm going to tell the rest. I'm going to tell the rest of the team tonight.
Is this why you wanted me to transfer?
No. When I first suggested you look elsewhere, I didn't know Homicide was going to be disbanded. I just thought...
You just thought you'd give me preferential treatment just in case. Is that it?
Let's back up here, shall we? Now, you didn't mind my help getting into Homicide in the first place.
And you wanted me to live and breathe Homicide, and I've done that. But now you're throwing me a lifeline and my colleagues have no idea what's about to go down.
I'm sorry to put you in a difficult position.
It's an impossible position. These aren't just my colleagues. These are my friends.
Yeah, and you're my family.
Okay, everyone, just listen up, please. Thank you.
Right, there's no easy way to say this, so I'll get straight to the point. In a couple of hours, the Attorney General, Michael Lombardi, will be making an announcement to the media that Homicide is going to be disbanded. In his wisdom, Mr...
Everyone, please, hey. Quieten up, please, show some respect. Commander.
As I was saying, in his wisdom, Mr. Lombardi has decided that all future homicides will be handled on a divisional basis. For high-profile cases, special task forces will be formed. I can't tell you how it grieves me to be making this announcement. And I will make every possible effort to ensure that you are transferred to a squad or a position of your choice.
Yeah, but this is Homicide. The only direction from here is down.
Shh. Zip it.
Can I say everyone here has served the department with loyalty and with distinction. All I can do is thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, that's not all you can do, is it? This is political payback from Michael Lombardi because we got too close to the truth and now he wants to shut us down.
Hey, that's enough, Levitt, all right?
Are we really just going to let this guy destroy what is easily the best department? Sounds like you just rolled over.
Levitt, back here, now.
With all due respect, sir, we still have 3 potential murders to solve.
Got a bit fired up in there.
Yeah, I meant every word too. If the commander doesn't like it, she can go and get stuffed.
Mate, it had to be said you just got in first.
Yeah, well, this case, a dead suspect, 3 possible victims, an unreliable confession. And this is exactly the type of case that will not get solved if Homicide goes.
Yeah. You're right.
She tried to get me on a task force.
Blood's thicker than water, eh?
Yeah. Well, I told her no.
I thought you were meant to be smart. Matt Ryan.
Oh, I don't imagine Waverley's going to be able to find positions for all of us.
I'm sure traffic management will have the room. Maybe even for a guy with a corruption charge on his CV.
Oi.
Yeah?
Got one question. Did you know this was going to happen?
Why would I know about it? And even if I did, what was I supposed to do?
Tell us?
Yeah, and what good would that have done?
So you did know?
Yeah, I knew. Just before we went in.
Listen up, guys. Pathology just got the bloods back on Greg Stevens.
A.K.A. Charlie Mansfield.
He had a large amount of heroin in his system, a lethal dose. When Ronnie got the bloods, she re-examined the body, found a needle mark near his heart.
Well, now we do have a murder. Father, what are your security arrangements like here?
The front doors are locked and secured at night and monitored. The emergency doors are alarmed. Visiting hours finish at 7, so anyone coming in after that, you couldn't help but see them.
OK, so we're talking night staff, cleaners...
You're better off talking to the night supervisor, Michelle Smith.
Greg? Well, he was only going to last another week, the most. Poor bugger. Why would you bother to bump him off?
Well, how well did you know Greg?
Not much past his care requirements. I know he was in a lot of pain.
Michelle! Charlie!
Coming! It's my dad. He's not very mobile.
So you're a nurse at home as well as work?
For the moment, yeah.
Did you ever have a lucid conversation with him?
Greg?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I deal with a lot of patients, you know. I try and be chatty and upbeat. Some respond, some don't. But it's hard to remember who says what.
Did Greg ever show you his Bible?
Bible? No, why?
What about the name Charlie Mansfield? Do you remember Greg ever mentioning it?
Don't think so.
Charlie!
I'm coming, Dad. Look, I've got to go. I can't help you.
One last question, Michelle. On the night that Greg died, do you remember seeing anyone around the hospice that you didn't recognise?
Like who?
A new face? A stranger?
Not that I remember.
Michelle! I'm waiting on my egg. Be hard as a rock.
I'm getting it, Dad, now, okay?
All right, thanks for your time, Michelle.
Charlie!
What can I do for you, Attorney General?
I've been meeting with the Commissioner and I asked him how the reassignments for Homicide were going.
And what did he say?
He said that you would brief me as to the current state of play.
Sorry, I just didn't think you'd be taking such a personal interest in the future of the squad.
Only in the sense that I'd like everything completed by the end of business Friday.
I don't understand the rush.
Big boys' games, big boys' rules. You're grown up enough to know that.
Attorney General, clearly you have no respect for me. And may I say the feeling is entirely mutual. But surely to destroy Homicide is counterproductive.
Your point?
Keep Homicide intact and you can have my resignation.
That's very noble. Falling on your sword, Commander. I'll expect your resignation on my desk by the end of business Friday.
And Homicide?
That won't be any of your concern.
Well, if I don't get a guarantee, you won't get my resignation.
Don't defy me. You'll leave this place without any superannuation and no reputation to speak of. Homicide ends Friday, Bernice, and your resignation...